Hi and welcome. My name is Melody and this is the 8th episode of my Melody Crochet Craftcast, where I come to you every week from my home here in Texas and share my knitting, crochet, and other crafty exploits. Basically, every week I come to you and just talk about my week. And I am so glad if you're joining me for the first time. I hope you enjoy. If you do and would like to have notifications of future episodes, please like and subscribe. And if you are returning, give yourself a very big hug and thank you for coming back. I hope you enjoy. I hope you have something to drink. I did some stuff. There is some crafting going on. Nothing insane. It's hot outside. I have a couple finished objects and I cannot wait to share them with you. Please go over to the Ravelry group. Melody Crochet Podcast is the Ravelry group's name, and that is where I'm going to be sharing any giveaways, information on CALs I might be participating in or think you might be interested in, as well as just frequently asked questions, whatever you want to talk about. Also, beneath here is the social media links. I'm most active on Instagram. Would love to get to connect with you. If it looks like your Instagram is yarn related at all at any point, I love family stuff too, don't get me wrong, but if it looks like you are a yarny human, I will totally like you back. And basically that is why I'm here. I just want to connect, make friends. I'm over here in Texas. I'm a transplant from California and I don't have a bunch of crafty friends. I have some great local yarn stores, but even they're a bit of a trek, so I only get there maybe once every 2 weeks or so. I am a regular at all of the big name craft stores. I think they're starting to know me. But I love to share what I find, my opinions on what I find, and what I think you might be interested in. And if you are interested in any particular kinds of yarn, I have the big names around me. I have the Joann's, the Michael, and the Hobby Lobby. I call them the Holy Trinity of crafting. And if you're interested in any kinds of yarn or what I have any opinions on, or if I've tried anything, please start the conversation. I would love to say hey to you. So let's get into it, okay? I'm having coffee today. I guess that's when I say let's get into it. I mean let's get into the coffee. I'm having coffee. I hope you have something to drink too. Still early-ish. This is my second cup, which should be my last cup. I have been completely nocturnal for the last 2 weeks. Like 3, 4 in the morning. It gets hot like it is right now, and my internal clock goes haywire. I have no idea what's up with that, but I'm comfy. I'm wide awake. I'm not slugging through my days. I sleep in a little later than I should, considering school starts in 2 weeks, and that is a 5:30 a.m. wake up for the next 9 months. So part of me is just like, you know, enjoy your nocturnalness because this can't last. I'm gonna have to be up at 5:30 in the morning, Monday through Friday, for 9 months. I think I'm the happiest person on Christmas break and spring break. The kids might be happy, but I'm like, sleep, I get sleep. But I've been up crafting, enjoying, planning, sprinting. I have some patterns in the work that I sent to some friends, and it's just been great. We start school early. I've heard of some starting school earlier. I thought I was one of the first, but when I was a kid, it was always September. So getting used to this Texas stuff, slowly but surely. And add a snack. It's a little bounce bar. These are really good. It's a protein energy ball, and basically it's made with, I think, whey protein and nut butter. Well, I know, whey protein and nut butter, and they're a lot better at sustaining my energy for things like today than cookies, because usually I have a cookie or something sweet when I'm recording with you guys, and I can visibly watch my energy wane. When I'm editing afterward, I'm just like, the difference between the beginning and the end is staggering. So hopefully this will keep me on tap a little better. Let's go right into the yarn though. This is my first finished object. This is my magical rainbow unicorn sweater, which means it's totally doable for the 13 months of magic cow. Am I right? Jilly from the Knitting Broomstick? Not that she's watching, but I think so. You guys think? I think it's magical in and of itself. I saw this colorway. This was my birthday yarn. I saw this colorway when I was in Farmersville at Fiber Circle. It's like the biggest yarn store in the tri-state area here. It's huge. And I just knew. I saw it and I said, that is my birthday yarn. It is my first cashmere, which is magical. It's so slinky and soft. It's not like silk. Silk has a funny rub, but the cashmere is just smooth. You could probably hear my dog snoring. Hey, Pickles. They're both asleep right in front of me. This is deep nap time, late morning. The colorway is Carousel, and this is Dream in Color Smooshy with Cashmere. So it's an MCN merino cashmere nylon, and it is amazing. I'd never worked with MCN before. I got another one to work with. This one's Anzula Cloud. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it, but I love it. As soon as I felt this and started working with this, I'm like, ooh. And this is called Violets, the colorway. So hopefully I'll find something I love. I was thinking something Hohi, like a single color Hohi Locatelli pattern. She has a couple. Imagine When or Imagine If. I'm not sure. It looks like a beautiful leaf in a single color. I might have to attempt. But you might notice the new location. I wanted to be closer to the yarn. I think the light's better back here. It's just a little bit more even than right in front of the window. I still have the window. I'm about 7 feet farther back than where I usually sit because when everything was so blown out. Like now I was testing it out and the colors are just a little kinder. My reds were not red. That thing was turning out quite right. I was having to doctor that a little bit and I don't want to do that. I want to show the actual look of the yarn. So let's get back to the sweater at hand. My finished object. This is the Alta Stratus pattern by Lisa Mooch. As I was saying, it's the Dream in Color Smooshy with Cashmere in the Carousel colorway. It's a fingering weight MCN. And I made the second size. I believe that's the 36 inch because she wanted some negative ease. And it fits amazingly. I go down a needle size whenever I knit because I'm a crocheter first. So I knit continental, which means my working yarn is in my left hand as it would be if you're crocheting. And I just have a loose gauge. I guess it's typical. I'm sure not every continental crocheter has a loose gauge, but I do. And I hear that's pretty typical. So I just go down one needle size. It's no biggie. This is all garter stitch, so it is all smooshy. I love it. This is my second Alta Stratus pattern. My first one's red, kind of a tonal red. I did it with Knit Pick Stroll. And I couldn't love it more. Let me show you a picture of the whole thing. See how it comes off a lot greener? The back of it does seem a lot greener than the front. I got a lot of purple up front, a lot of green in the back, but nothing noticeable. There's no line. I changed yarn balls every 4 rows. And I will be honest, I think my only qualm with this is how little yarn it used. This is only 2 of the balls I have left because the other one got lost somewhere in here. I have 140 grams of yarn left. I only bought 300 grams of yarn, so it barely used half of my yarn. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the rest. I might over dye it with a light shade of gray and just kind of tone it down, have kind of a rainbow. I'm not sure. But I don't think I want to have a matching hat and matching socks to my sweater. I'm not that cool. So, very pleased. My rainbow sweater is done. I am so happy. It knit up so quickly. If you actually just look at actual knitting time, it took me a few months. But I made the yoke. I connected at the armpit and then I made myself put it down. That was around the time I started the podcast and I really wanted to give you guys some diversity. I didn't want to come back. I didn't want to come to you with my first episode, talk about my sweater. Then a week later, talk to you about the second part of the same sweater. Then third week, talk to you, I don't know, about the sleeves of the same sweater. So I made myself put it down, work on some other stuff because I can make other things a lot faster than I can make a sweater, theoretically. Turns out, no, probably not. I made this in about 3 days tops because I had to redo it. And then I did this in about 3 days. And then, while it took me a few days of thinking about how wide I wanted my button band, it only took a day to do the sleeves and the button band because it's just so quick. It's on such large needles. It's such an open sweater. You could see my fingers through there. Those aren't holes. That's the actual gauge of the sweater. This is a light summer sweater. I gave it a bag. Where's its bag? This goes in my purse. And then this whole sweater smooshes up into less than half of this bag. And I keep it in there because if it snagged on something, I mean, worse things have happened to better people, but let's not tempt fate. I do not want it to snag, especially not in the first week after I knitted it. I love this sweater. I can't wait to have it in fall. I can't wait to have it for quick runs into Target where the air conditioning is frigid and I'm in a tank top because it's summer outside. How cold does air conditioning feel when it's 110 outside, you know? Maybe you don't. It feels pretty cold. And then movies, it's just enough to keep the chill off. It's amazing. Part of me wants another one. I know. I'm thinking a fade one. Because I don't know if I will. I see these sock weight sweaters like, what is it? There's a Madewell. There's the, why do I want to say Vitamin K? I'd have to look. I might be wrong on that name. But there's several of the sock weight feathers. Oh, the featherweight. And that looks like work. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I would keep my interest. Part of me wants to try though. And if I did, I bet a fadey one would be really pretty, even though I tend to like my patterns very bold. Big contrasting colors and bold colors, and thick stripes, big contrast. But I wouldn't mind trying to fade a cardigan. I don't think, everybody around here says that a fingering weight sweater, it's not an issue. You can wear it lots. I just don't know. I think it'd be toasty. I live in t-shirts and tank tops. It's hot. So time will tell. But that is my first finished object, my Alta Stratus. And I couldn't be happier. Yay! Okay. Whew. Let's get on to my next finished object, shall we? As I mentioned, the kids are going back to school. And I want to give them some first day of school socks that I've made. So I picked out the yarn and I finished, these were first my older son's birthday socks. They are made from Regia 6 Fittig. There it is. Regia 6 Fittig. And the colorway is probably a number. It looks like it's 63, 64, assuming Farbe means color. And Party is 46101, which I'm guessing is the dye lot. And here they are. I knit these up on size 1 needles. They were actually made one at a time, magic circle, on my ChowGoo Twist interchangeable sock needles. And I love them very, very, very much. It is a sport weight. That's what 6 Fittig means. It means 6 ply. So it's a sport weight German sock yarn, and I love it. I'm addicted to German sock yarn. I've never used a sport weight though. These are amazing. I will need a pair. I started off with a 1x1 rib. This is through the back loop. It's my favorite rib. Top down socks are my favorite socks. I did about 10 stripes, about 7 inches, I believe. Went with an eye of partridge heel. His size 14 foot. And a round toe. They match pretty much perfectly right down to the toe, which I think one of them seems to have about 5 rows wide versus 3 rows wide. The rest is exact. Isn't that cool? Normally, I'm not picky. I like it when they mismatch. But it was such a great gauge of when I should start the heel, stop the foot, and things like that. I just went with it. So this is number 1 of the back to school socks. And my second finished object. So I'm all done with the Batman bag. Total bummer. I'm gonna have to make him something new so I can get out the Batman bag. It's also great for Halloween though. My friend made it for me. That glittery bat fabric. She's awesome. Pretty inside too. Kind of a Raven haunted house look. Boop. Now, I have one more finished object and it's not made of yarn. It is 4 yarn though. And I have promised out many and they are all on their way. I should have already mailed these out. I love you guys. Please understand. But these are my tacos. I was watching and there were some people with some taco charms, and every time I see them I think Taco Tuesday. I am a staunch participant in Taco Tuesday. Every Tuesday we have tacos. Sometimes it's shrimp tacos, chicken tacos, meat tacos. Sometimes I make them, sometimes we go get them. But it is always tacos on Tuesday. And I always have a project in hand for Taco Tuesday at night. And so I made my own. I went in. It's not that they were too expensive. It's just that I was looking at them and I'm like, I can make that. And everything is more special if you make it yourself. Am I right? So I busted out that polymer clay. We had a family time of it. My son made a bunch. The littler son made a bunch. The only one he gave me was his beautiful green heart with glitter. Would you look at that? It's the sweetest thing ever. It's basically like 3 hearts. And when it baked together, it kind of smooshed. So sweet. And my husband, he made meatloaf. I think that looks awesome. He did a fabulous job. I made about... There's another one floating around. I have a friend that I set hers aside special because I'm mailing it and it's to give to her friend. So I set that aside. It's over there with a mini. I need to get that in the mail like now. It was supposed to be last week. I'm naughty. But look here, aren't they cute? I had a little boo-boo. I will learn how to do glaze better. Just a little bit of a gunking. I will have to Google how people usually glaze their charms because I use the right stuff, but then I put it down and where it hit the I had it down on foil so it wouldn't be flat, and where it hit the foil I had some pooling. I could probably sand it, but that would kind of go against the whole point of making it shiny. But they are awesome. I can't wait to get it on my project. Right now it's on some Regia socks for my Tuesday project. And I also, just to share, made a sorting hat and a moogle. It's kind of a primitive moogle. It doesn't have eyeballs. It has some dots in there for the eyeballs, but I just kind of made indents instead of doing the painting. So much fun though, guys. I highly suggest you get yourself out some polymer clay. And that's all I have for finished objects. So that's all I have for my finished objects. But I do have several whips, as is assumed because I mentioned that I want to make socks for everybody for the first day of school. And these are for the little guy. I dyed up some yarn, but it didn't work out. So when I rolled up the yarn that I dyed, it was a little too mellow for his taste. It was a lot of white, very little speckle. So I took the yarn, sprayed it all over, covered the ottoman with sock yarn, and I said, which one do you like? And he chose this. This is Done Roving in, oh, it'll come back to me later. Done Roving Frolicking Feet is the make of the yarn, and it is amazing. I've had this for a little while in my stash. I am going to be making me some shorties to match his socks because his socks won't take much yarn. He is a size 2 in boys, and this is where we are. Just like Big Brothers, we have a 1x1 rib. Ooh, that's the pretty part, right? There we go. We have a 1x1 rib. I went for 12 rows, and then I did about 30 rows of a round, and now I'm starting the heel flap, which is going to be a little higher than most because it will protect the back of his heels from his shoes. He's a little sensitive on the back of his heel. So here it is, ready to go. I'm not doing an eye partridge. I'm doing a knit pearl, something a little squishier with some texture because I really want them to be strong and squishy on the back of the heel. His last one I did not have a heel flap. It was toe up, and it was just kind of it just wasn't a very tough heel. So I'm really excited to get a good sturdy sock on him. So the Frolicking Feet is amazing. I believe it is 100% merino wool. I do not think it has any nylon at all. I have another pair of socks that I made myself and my husband in the Frolicking Feet, and I'd say it's one of my favorite sock bases now. It has such body to the yarn, such a nice twist. It is just the perfect mix between, I'd say it's almost halfway hawthorn and halfway stroll. If any of you are Knit Picks shoppers, you know what I mean by that. It is soft and squishy and beautiful feeling, but it has a good twist and a good body. And these socks, they're not wimpy. They stand up on their own, which is, I like that because that means it's probably not going to fall down. I did try this on. I threw it on a circular needle and had him put it on, and it fits perfectly on his little leg. So very pleased. I have already divided the ball into 2 balls, half and half, and took out my several grams for my blanket because first day of school's socks are very special and they need to have somewhere in my memory blanket. I think all I got was the 3 grams after these size 14 monsters. I got about 3 grams left over for my blanket, and that is about it. So very cool. And my son's girlfriend Amber is going back to school also, so she needs socks too. I don't know if I should do this on a new project section or if I should do this on whips because technically I started it. But we went to the Fiber Festival in April together, and she picked out this beautiful mustache yarn mini. She has the shorter than average balls of yarn, and this was about 68 grams of her. I do not know what the colorway was, but it's been living. I separated it into 2 balls and started a toe for Amber, and we were going to go through and she's going to learn to knit. She's a crocheter right now, and she just, with school and work and everything, has not had the time, but would really like the socks. So I kidnapped that mustache yarns, and I'm going to make it for her back to school socks. I'm going to reball because they're abused. It's abused yarn right there. And I will probably not do the bamboos. I'm doing the bamboo size 1s on the Frolicking Feet because it's got some body. The mustache is a little thinner, a little slinkier, and I think it'll be a lot happier on some size 0s. So first I'm going to throw it, and then I'm going to make her some socks. I'm also going to do the Rose City Rollers pattern, and I'm going to, I'd say contrasting heel, and that's about it. I dropped something. Contrasting heel. Everything else will be this color, and there'll be plenty. Hopefully I have 3 grams left for my blanket. I'll find a way. She might have 1 contrasting toe. I don't think she'd mind. We don't care if our socks are mismatched, do we, Amber? Nope. So I did take my first Amber sized foot mold, and I'm ready to go. And one more guy. My husband is amazing. My husband is wonderful. He is the one that goes to the craft store with me, sits there and patiently waits while I go around 2 times. He is generous, buys me all the good stuff, doesn't complain about the yarn thing at all, but he never asks for anything. He likes his hats because he wears hats, but he never has had any socks that I made specifically for him. He's gotten the ones that I made for me, but they were too big. But I saw this, and not only is it affordable, which is right up his alley, he just can't see how he could go to work in $25 socks. And I wouldn't make him go to work in $25 socks if he doesn't want to. So I'm not gonna like force handmade socks on him, right? But this is Patton's Croy with a Michaels coupon. This is like less than $4 yarn. And these colors are so him. They are so perfect for him. I'm so excited. So these are going to be his first made for him handmade socks. And next week I'll go back and get the second ball with the coupon. Even though I think you could do it every day. I don't think I've ever had a situation where they're like, oh, you already used that coupon code from my phone. No biggie. But I love this. It just screams him. It's 3 different colors of blue and a gray stripe, and they're irregular size stripes, so they're different throughout the entire sock. I think he's gonna love them, and I think they're gonna look great on him. So I have a dream that the husband sock, Amber socks, and Izzy socks will all be done by the first day of school, which is the 21st. 2 weeks exactly. And while I was walking around a thrift store locally, I saw this. Isn't it cute? It didn't look like this at the time. It looked like one of the 80s wicker baskets that had like that orangey, kind of orangey brown tan leather. It matches this really well for a leather, but I don't really like that. So I brought it home and I painted it with acrylic paint and then covered it with some, I think, polyacrylic spray paint. And I love it now. I covered its handles because handles don't hold up well. So I just used some satin ribbon and covered the handles. And it's my little sock basket now. It can go everywhere with me. And right now it's holding all the back to school socks. So, as well as some stitch markers, because you never know. So my little rainbow socks and my amber socks. Husband sock yarn. Oh my. Oh my. Things have gone askew. Who'd have thought throwing around yarn would be dangerous? We're just gonna let that be askew. And there it is. That's everybody's sock yarn project. And I have used my planner. I don't know if I've shared with you guys. I do the happy planner to schedule out my projects because the patterns and the projects that I have planned that have timelines on them and the things I'm making for other people and the shop stuff and the yarn stuff, it can be overwhelming, but I don't take on too much. So if I actually write it out and add some stickers, and this way I know when I have a busy day, so I shouldn't plan a ton of stuff to do, and I have scheduled out my socks, all I have to do is stay on target and I'm good to go. Whoops! In addition to my planner, because this stays home, I'm constantly thinking of ideas and things that I need to do. So every year I start a new moleskin, and it picks up stickers everywhere we go whenever a sticker is available. And my favorite pen is the Micron by Pixma. I like the super, super thin ones. This is an 01. There we go. Which means it's what, 0.35? Might be 0.3. No, 0.25 millimeter. It's a very thin, stiff nib, and it writes in these things like a dream. It doesn't bleed through. The only other pen I will use in my moleskins, and I use the squared moleskin, The only other pin I will use is the Sharpie No Bleed. I like those too, but those are a little bit more broad tip, even though it's still a very fine tip. Those are a little bit more broad, and because of that, it just looks a little messier. So this is what I do for writing down all the things I need to do and add to my calendar later. And that stays in my bag all the time. So, just a little tidbit on how I keep everything being made. People say I'm fast. I'm not fast. I'm constant. I am obsessed. You will not see me anywhere without 2 projects at hand. In the car, visiting with people, at the movies. I have stuff for everything. I can't knit in the movies when it's dark, but I can crochet. I can make a hat. Crocheting is like, I don't even have to look. Crocheting is just second nature to me. So that's basically why I get so much done. It's because I'm always doing it. Always. I don't know what to do with my hands when they don't have yarn in them. It's not overwhelming and it's not compulsive. It's just second nature. I sit here right now and I'm like, I see a blanket right there that I'm about to share with you, and I'm like, why am I not making that blanket? My next in progress, now that I've shared my complete compulsion, is a baby blanket in my cute IKEA basket. Now, I do believe, nope. I was gonna say the rest is all blankets, but it's not blankets. This is my first blankie in progress. And this is a baby blanket for a friend. Him and his wife are expecting their first baby this month, and they're up in Canada. We play video games with the baby's dad, and the whole family just adores him and cannot wait to see the baby. They're not finding out if it's a boy or a girl. And I wanted to be gender neutral, and too many ands. But that's kind of what was going on in my head. There was a lot of and a lot of but. So I just wanted gender neutral, but I still wanted fun, bright, and awesome. And I figure if you don't know what the baby is, it's okay to have blue and pink. It's almost a reminder afterward that you didn't know what the baby was. Am I right? Kind of like a, oh yeah, we waited until you were here to find out. This is my first time working with this yarn. I'm thinking of doing a yarn review. Let me know if you guys would be interested. I'll probably be doing it either way. But there's so many color changing big old wheels of yarn out right now. This is the Hobby Lobby one. I was fortunate enough to go back and find one that was exactly like the first one I had, because as a rule, I'm finding that they start or end in different places, and the Caron cakes even transpose their direction. Like, it works in the opposite direction of colors from the inside out. That was a surprise. But regardless, and I do love the Caron cakes, by the way. The yarn is awesome. They work out great. They're a little uneven, but I'm thinking I want to do some yarn reviews. This is the Hobby Lobby Yarn Bee Sugar Wheel. Does she have a name? Have It Sorbet. I guess that's a play on Have It Your Way, which is awesome. And these colors are awesome. And they have speckles, which is fun. So basically I started over here, picked out a stitch, and just went for it. I'll write up what I did when I'm done. I always share. But until it's done, I can't write it up. It's close though. This is almost halfway. So I started here. I had no idea this would be less than half the blanket. So I probably made it too big for a newborn, which is my way. I will suggest a more appropriate number of stitches for a baby blanket when I share with you guys. But this is where I am right now. Oh, thumbnail? Okay. But it starts off orange, solid orange, goes to this cute tangerine color, and then it picks up in pink with speckles. I don't know if it's going to show, I think it is, of the tangerine and the orange, which is awesome. And then goes to this blue with lots of orange in it. and then to this pretty periwinkle color, which I don't know if they spilt, but they got lots of orange in that little speck. And I realized when I finished, because this was the end. Where's the end? Yeah, right there. That's the end. We're looking at the back. Don't look at my ugly back work. There we go. So this is the end, and I'm like, twice as wide will not be wide enough. Close, but no cigar. So I'm gonna do about 6 inches of, excuse my messy, messy stash yarn. Midnight. Navy. This is Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn in navy. And as bad as this looks, this is coming out of the ball just fine. No tangles at all. Sliding out like a dream. It just, when you work from the inside out and yarn is this drapey in acrylic, this is just what happens. As a rule, long before now, I would have snipped the yarn and put it into a ball. I've only been using this for a little bit. That was probably for some granny squares at some point. But it's navy blue. I thought it was a nice transition. Basically now, what I'm gonna do is probably take this and work backwards. So the periwinkle will be here, then the light blue, the pink, the tangerine, and the orange. And it will be about this wide. Hopefully that will be shared with you guys next episode on Friday. And I'm loving this yarn. Did you see my eyes just flitter? I saw a squirrel. I'm not afraid of squirrels, but usually seeing a squirrel means that a massive commotion is about to happen in the house. So I was like, okay. So let's talk about this yarn. This is definitely an Aran weight. It's thicker than worsted. It works up quick. It is super plump. It has a lot of volume in that it does not smoosh down and fall into nothing. I would say it's a closer to stiff than drapey, even when, come here, there we go. But drapey enough to not stand up on its own, which I don't like yarn that stands up on its own. That's just a little too much body for me. I don't want to struggle with the yarn, but it still holds its own just fine in a pattern. I am on a K hook on Aran weight yarn, which a lot of times if yarn has less body will be almost lacy, and I wasn't looking for that. I don't like it when the little baby toes get caught into the baby blanket. I love a lacy looking blanket, but I don't like to see the baby toes get stuck in the blanket. I don't know why. And 100% acrylic, I'm almost certain. You know, I didn't even look, I just assumed. Yeah, 100% acrylic, and they suggested it's a size 4. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. They suggested a size I hook. So yeah, it would be very dense on an I hook. So I would say even less drapey than I was expecting, because if they expected this to be on an I hook, that would probably be a pattern that stood up on its own. Almost certainly. And super warm, very cuddly, not shiny at all, not completely matte to where it's fuzzy or has any kind of a halo, and it is much less halo-y than the mandala, a lot thicker than the mandala, about the same thickness as most of the Caron cakes, but the Caron cakes, the darker colors tend to get thinner. I'm not sure why. Like the darkest colors inside the cake tend to have thick and thin areas. And all in all, I would compare this most to the Pound of Yarn by Lion. I hope that helps. So that is my baby blanket number 1. It's been a blanket week, guys. Blanket number 2 is actually a throw blanket, and I was in Walmart. I know I love makeup and I love yarn. I cannot get out of Walmart without either a cheap lipstick or a nail polish, and I cannot get out of Walmart without a hank of yarn. I guess it's a skein in that situation, but without a skein of yarn. Especially lately, they have upped their game. Everybody was talking about mandala, and I'm like, I got my mandala by getting on my hands and knees on the floor in Walmart, which everybody knows I'm a germaphobe. Touching the floor in Walmart is kind of like, oh, I'm a germaphobe. Let's just put it there. But it was there. I saw the corner of it. It was behind the cones of yarn, and there was 3 balls of mandala back there. Maybe somebody had bought it and returned it to Walmart, is my only guess, because they didn't know where to put it. Because after I bought the 2, there was 1 left, and I went there and they had put the 1 behind the same cone of cotton on the bottom row of the yarn. And I'm like, what is that? Is that where it belongs? Is there a skew back there? But regardless, I go into Walmart this week and I almost fell over like 20 colorways. Let me share a picture. Oh, the colors. Oh my gosh. And Bernat Pop. Ah, a whole new yarn. I'm gonna have so many blankets. I'm gonna have so many blankets. It's crazy. The colors are beautiful. The yarn is so soft. On the mosaic, I have not worked with Bernat Pop. We'll be talking about it soon. I wasn't there for yarn. I was literally there for like an item. Somehow I walked out without it. That was a different Walmart trip. This is Texas. We have Walmart in every corner. So before that, during the Walmart trip where we were shopping, I made my way to the yarn area, and remember I got the flamenco stripe, and I was so impressed that they had flamenco stripe. This was before they had the mosaics, by the way. Well, they got another colorway, and this is going to be a blanket. I am going to make, I'm sure you've all seen it, where you make a granny square out of a circle and then surround it with the square to make granny square. So this is going to be the circle in the middle, and I'm really hoping lots of my circles get transition colors, because that's what I love best, the transition in these. And then some of my circles are just going to be the pink. The pink had to come home. I've never seen it. It is a mixture between lipstick, which is my favorite, and the neon pink. So it's like a fuchsia, like a hot fuchsia. It's called Grenadine, like Shirley Temple's. Oh, I don't know why I can't leave the store without acrylic. I don't know why. I have no need, but I do use it. So I can't fault myself on that one. My yarn gets used or my yarn gets destashed. On the regular, I am one to just go onto a destash or sell it and just get rid of a box of acrylic scrap or acrylic that I'm not going to use. I don't like keeping things that I'm not going to use. So this is my next blanket with a bunch of white. I already have a bunch of white though. So keep your eyes peeled. I'm very excited. So that's blanket number 2. Now we have blanket number 3. I know. It's August. It's hot. Why am I making blankets? I can't stop though. The colors out there right now are amazing, and as everyone knows, colors in acrylic go away. Hopefully they come back next year. Sometimes they don't. So I'm over at Hobby Lobby. I want to make another baby blanket for a friend. Again, don't know if it's a boy or a girl. And I went Grello. There's another ball of yellow in here too, but it's the same as these. This is the Yarn Beat. Notice they are falling apart. It's an anti-pill acrylic yarn, and it is an Aran weight also. It's called Soft and Sleek. Ooh, Yarn Bee, soft and sleek. This is of course the white. This is the, I don't think it's just called gray because they had more, oh, dark gray, as I was gonna say. I think the other one was called silver, and it was pretty, but I wanted contrast. And then where's my other yellow? What's it called? Pale yellow. So they didn't get creative. But isn't that pretty? I might try the corner to corner chevron. So I also tried out a new yarn hook. This was a sample I did. Isn't that pretty? I just like the way the colors work together. I didn't like it per se. I might give it another chance, but so far, no go. And I tried out a new hook from Hobby Lobby. It's one of their luxury line. It had a very non-skid grip and it was made of plastic. Don't think I have it in front of me. I'll share a picture. And I didn't like it. It snagged on every other stitch practically. It was really frustrating. So no go. Bummer. I wish I love finding hooks I love, but so far I love Clover and I love Boy. I don't like Bates. I think that most crocheters are either a Boy or a Bates. I'm a Boy. I know we're flying here. I hope I'm not going too fast. I hope I'm not completely boring you with my blanket talk either. But this was the original blanket. Now the baby blankets are going to be done in no time. They fly. But this is for my bed because I was on Instagram and I saw this. I would like to thank the Patchwork Heart for the inspiration because my heart just leapt. And I have the book that she used. See, all of these, I've had this forever. This is Jan Eaton, a fabulous book. She is no longer designing, but she's still on Instagram. You just kind of have to hunt her down from the Ravelry click over kind of a thing. Mild stalking, but I have to see what she makes because she's amazing. And I made a little note because I'm using eye hook. This was made for me by my friend Joelle. It's a boy hook covered in polymer clay. So I could think of her and it's super comfy. And on the top I put 29 and eye hook because I need all of my squares to end in 29 stitches. So that sometimes requires some doctoring. No biggie. My squares are 8 inches wide and I will be doing them in multicolor. I'm just going to be using my scrap. I love this yarn, so mine's going to be a little bulkier because hers is in DK weight. Also, I'm on a king size bed and she's on a queen size bed. That seems like personal information that I shouldn't have, but I had that bed. It was my IKEA bed before we moved to Texas. I had that bed for years. I love that bed. Oh, it's so cute. But we were very, very happy to get into our king size bed because dogs, everybody, we wake up just elbows in our face. Am I right? It's a mothering thing. And being on a queen size bed did not keep them from being on there with us. So king size bed is awesome, but that bed was so cute and served me so well for years. I loved it. So I know that that bed doesn't come in any size larger than a queen. And so she probably used about 30 less squares than I'm gonna need. I'm guessing I'm gonna need about 140 squares. I'm thinking 14 by 10 because I'll have about a 2.5 inch border in between each square. And here we are so far. What I'm gonna do is make a square a day. And I will probably share it on the Ravelry group. I would love it if you make some squares, if you share them with me. I'm just going to start a little thread for blanket making. I made 2 of these because they would go so fast. And it was the same color, right? There's the lavender. Here's the teal. I love this square. This square will be showing up again in other colors because it's my favorite. Ooh, and this one. I love this one. What's fun is that they were originally, and in the book, they show up in multicolors, and they're so fun in single colors. You can of course do multicolors, but I never thought to do single colors until I saw that picture on Instagram. and it's beautiful. My border will probably be a light turquoise, not quite aqua like hers, but more of a cool turquoise, because that just fits into our decor a little bit better. And I'm really excited. So that is what blanket number 1, 2, 3, 4. When you add to that my Cozy Memories, I'm using the pattern by Sandra at Cherry Heart. When you add that, I think I'm working on like 5 blankets right now. And none of them are actually getting worked on because of the school socks, and it's driving me mad. I could be finishing blankets left and right now. I'm so motivated by them. But socks, 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 and they're going quick. I started the little guy's socks just earlier this morning, and they're flying. They'll be done in no time at all. I have them scheduled to be done by Sunday, which is 4 days from now, like the pair done by Sunday. I would not be surprised if they're done by tomorrow. So we'll see, we'll see. Then I'll get on Amber's socks, and I won't feel very pressured when I'm down to just 1 pair of socks. I'll be doing Amber's socks in tandem with my husband's socks because that's a lot more interesting. Now, I did a little bit of dyeing this week. Just wanted to share because it amuses me. I call this guac cost extra because Chipotle, right? And I'm going to love them. They're going to be my next Taco Tuesday socks. Isn't that fun? There's a red speckle and the green speckles with the avocado skin. And I don't like avocado green, but I love a toned down neon. So these are going to be my guacamole socks. Okay, that's all I dyed. There'll be more dyeing coming up though. I'm getting the bug, guys. I'm getting the bug. I'm scheduled, to not dye yarn for selling until a month before Halloween. When's that, September? So I'm early, but not terribly early. So maybe I'll just do my Halloween stuff early. I have it all written out, the colorways that I want to do. There's 3 of them. Now, for the one thing that I'm procrastinating on the most, I cast on a shawl. As most of the people that talk to me have realized, I'm very, very excited about Yarngasm coming. Yarngasm. Vine, who has a podcast called Yarngasm, she has created another shawl. Her shawls are always gorgeous, always lacy, always amazing. And her patterns are beautiful. They're just so well decorated and so cute that they're awesome. And she put out that she shared on her podcast her Oracle shawl, which is amazing. Just gorgeous. And my jaw dropped. So then she sent it out for test knitting. And so many people that I already followed test knit this shawl. And it has so many aspects that are brand new to me that I was nervous, apprehensive, but I think that makes it better. I'm one of the people that I don't mind completely screwing something up as long as it's not boring. And it being a challenge just makes it better. So I saw this shawl and it had aspects that I'd never seen before, never done before. I've seen them, but I've never done them before. And I had to have it. So then after sitting there while I watched everybody else knit this shawl up, so jealous, I was chomping at the bit for August 1 to come. And the only thing that I could really keep myself amused by and keep the time passing by was choosing colors, because that's time consuming for me at times. So let me share my colors first. Where you at? Oh, here you are. These are my, we'll do them in order. Or not. These are my A, my B, and my C. A, B, C. This is Long Dog Yarns in Midnight Affair. It is so pretty. This is her twist base. I'm not sure if she's based in Texas, but I sure do run into her yarn a lot. I saw her at a yarn festival. I've seen her at a couple yarn shops that I frequent, and I kind of love it. But I got this at McKinney Knittery, and it's gorgeous. I went to my first knit night this last week on Wednesday. I don't know if I'm a knit night person. The whole time I was just thinking I should be at home. My dog probably feels abandoned. This is dog walk time. I passed my husband on the way out as he was coming in the door. It was no fun. I got there. The group was awesome. Just a big group, lively women. It was so nice. But the whole time I was thinking I should be at home. And I missed them. So as soon as 8 o'clock rolled around, I bolted out the door and went home, walked my dog. I think I'm a Saturday morning knitter. I love my Saturday mornings out. I get up nice and early and we go, and if there's a child awake, I take them with me and just grab something to eat, go look at a yarn store, hit a couple craft stores, maybe a thrift shop, grab some coffee on the way home, and then I'm good. Just refuels my engine. But this didn't feel refueling. This felt different. But I hope that in the near future I am a knit night person. Just think at the moment I'm just kind of like, I'm a Saturday morning girl. Oh, color B. Isn't that pretty? Also long dog yarn. Check out those purple speckles. They're so pretty. This is also part of the Brooklyn Hand Knits. She called it her hipster cowl because I got in before there was 30 people making this shawl. So I'm doing it for my hipster cowl along. Isn't that pretty? So long dog yarn, also twist base in fairy wings, which I would love to have another one. I don't know if long dog yarns does glittery bases, but I would love some sparkle with these fairy wings. And my color C, heritage sock in black, because if you have eyes, why not go blind, right? I'm gonna go blind, people. To be perfectly honest, I would rather set those socks aside, set those baby blankets aside, and just make this. And part of me was negotiating, hey, if I just completely devote myself to this, I'll still have plenty of time to make those socks and those baby blankets before babies arrive and school starts. But that's not how it would work out, because I would completely devote myself to this shawl. I would completely devote myself to the socks and everything, theoretically. But what would really happen is I have other things to make. I have other time commitments of things to make afterward. I've joined a Halloween swap, which I have already planned out what I'm going to make her. It's 13 mini things for Halloween. And I love my partner. I love her style, and I knew what I wanted to make her the second I found out who I got. I'm just readjusting. Oh my goodness, legs falling asleep. So it's going to be yarn intensive and lots of projects, an organizational feat, and I'm going to want to do it all at one time. So if I finish the Oracle shawl, I'm just going to jump right into that as a side project too. I also joined the 12 mini days of Christmas, which I have months to send these things. The holidays are not coming soon, but I'm so excited about them, just like I am the shawl. So if I finish the shawl in a week and a half and then finish the Halloween, then I'm just going to be right into the Christmas swap. Long story short, guys, I have to stick to my schedule. Otherwise, I will not have socks for the kids at school, and I will be so disappointed if I don't have new socks for them for the first day of school. Because how do you go to school in August in Texas without wool socks? You could freeze to death. Am I right? I don't know if it's ego, but part of me is just really attached to the idea of them all having socks for the first day of school. And I know that it will be more than worth it. Plus, why would I want to rush through my Oracle shawl? I mean, I don't know what about me wants to just rush through these Oracle shawls and like these objects that I'm so excited to make. It's about the journey, right? So, keeping it calm, pacing myself, enjoying every step. Here she is. She started on DPNs. Look at that. It's my first little bit of brioche. So she was all lacy in a circle. This is no small feat right here, people. I've never knit something in a circle from the inside out. It's amazing. I did this really cool start that she suggested that I had to go and find a tutorial about. It was so exciting and it worked up. And then went right into, so this is of course the color A, the Midnight Affair, and then it worked right up into the first brioche, which I'm so glad she had this little bit of brioche right off the bat, because it was my first brioche in a circle. So what's that, second or third thing that is brand new to me? It's my first pie shawl, it's my first lace in a circle, and it's my first brioche in a circle. And I messed up, which is to be expected. My first brioche in a circle, that join was a rough spot. Because it leaves strands hanging, because you go back and forth between the colors, and I don't think I left them hanging in the right spot, because it just wasn't pretty. And if it wasn't so close to the beginning, I would have been tempted to just Mickey Mouse it later and kind of sew over it to cover up the strands that were on the wrong side, because it wasn't going to ruin the integrity of the shawl. But I'm really glad it was so early on, because I had no qualms about starting over. It was maybe an hour worth of knitting by the time I got halfway through this brioche. Probably would have been less, but this was, like I said, new to me, the start. Then this is my first bit of lace, and this is on the fairy wings. Check out those purple pops. Isn't that pretty? Oh my goodness, it's going to open up so nicely. And now I have added my third color, and this is the fairy wings and the black in my brioche. I started off on DPNs, then I went to these 24-inch Chow Goo, and then right before the brioche, she suggests a lifeline, which you can see right there. The purple is my lifeline, and she suggested that I go onto a 40-inch cable. So I put my 40-inch cable in there. Where's my 40-inch cable? I wanted to share. Here it is. This is my 40-inch cable. These are my interchangeables. I have the Knit Picks Options interchangeable set. Instead of my wooden needles that it comes with, I have Nova Platinas, which I love, and the cable. Anybody suggest a good cable? Because this isn't doing it. I put the yarn on there and it turned into a hula hoop. It is completely stiff, which I've used these cables for years now. I love these cables, but I've only worked back and forth. Like I said, this is my first pie shawl. So I put it on there, and it's basically a hula hoop of stretched out yarn, and it was just a hoop. It was like knitting around a hoop. I'm like, oh, this wasn't comfy. So as opposed to doing anything dangerous, I went ahead and put it back on my 24s, because as you can see, there's still plenty of room for my work on the 24s right now. I'm going to do a few more rows and get it a little bit wider and put it back on these, and hopefully it works out. Otherwise, between now and then, I'm sure I will come across a 40-inch size 5, which is what I'm working on here. A size 5 needle. I went down a needle, of course, always do because of my loose gauge. And since an oracle is for divination, I have my little teacup, because you know, you read the tea leaves, right? So this is it, guys. Isn't she pretty? I'm very excited. I'm nervous too. Part of me thinks at some point something's going to happen and I'm just going to say, oh well, never mind, and turn it into a doodler. But hopefully I will stick with it, love it completely, and have my very first pie shawl. Okay, so that's all I have for you guys. I hope that you are enjoying your stitches. I hope that your plans are working out well for the summer and that you're having a blast. If you're wrapping up summer vacations like I am, I hope you're enjoying everybody. The weather is perfect and that you get lots of fun out there. If you have any questions or comments, all of my social media is below. Please come join us over on the Melody Crochet podcast, and please come and join the family down below. Subscribe and like if you enjoy and want to hear notifications when I post a video. Happens about weekly. Summer is, of course, crazy. And I mentioned questions and suggestions. Comments below are fine. I read them. Instagram is good. Ravelry group is great. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great week. Bye.